Hi guys, Royal here, and today I am going to teach you one of the most important and beneficial languages that you can ever learn, and that is called vibrations. Vibrations, they are the language of the universe. So the universe doesn't speak words or even thoughts. What it speaks is vibrations. And when you learn how to speak vibrations, then you can really communicate to the universe exactly what it is that you want. What are y'all doing? These cats are crazy. Anyway, so speaking vibrations, that investing some effort and time into just learning, it's a fun process. It's just like speaking any other or learning any other language. It's not going to happen overnight. Very important to be patient with yourselves, just like with anything else. But what it really does is it helps you take your power back, and it helps you start seeing things from a different perspective. And it also makes choosing, which we have nothing but choices every single day. In every moment you have a choice, and it makes that process a whole lot easier when you think and speak vibration. Instead of just thinking things or benefits or anything like that, if you just speak the universal language of vibrations, everything just kind of starts falling into place a whole lot better. Okay, so everything is vibrations. Everything is vibrating. Everything has a different frequency, and every single thing. So the food that you eat, the drinks that you drink, the movies that you watch, the music that you listen to, every single thing, even, this cup, everything in our world holds a vibration. And hang on. Can't pick up the cup without taking a sip. It's just kind of like a law or something, I feel. Anyway, everything holds a frequency. So, and those frequencies range from low to high. And the lower the frequency, the worse it feels, and the higher the frequency, the better it makes you feel. So you judge frequencies based on how you feel. Your feelings are your kind of support system to let you know where you're at on the frequency scale and the vibrational scale. That's why it's so important to be in tune with your feelings and allow yourself to feel, because your feelings, your emotions, they are your spiritual guidance system in this life. They're your, like how bugs have those little feelers, they're like, oh, nope, can't go that way, I gotta go this way. That's what your emotions and your feelings are. They're your guidance system to let you know where you are at on the vibrational frequency scale of things. When you do something and you don't feel good about it, it either makes you feel one of the lower vibrating frequency feelings, guilt, fear, shame, anger, sadness. If it makes you feel that, that is your sign, your signal from your spiritual guidance system, your spiritual feelers, letting you know, hey, that's going in the wrong way on the vibrational scale. Let's change that thought, change that feeling to something of a higher vibration. Let's go back the other direction. You're going the wrong direction on the vibrational scale. Ultimately, your goal is to vibrate at a very high frequency. One person vibrating at a high frequency above 500 or hertz or higher can outdo 1 million people vibrating at a low frequency. One person has the power to raise up 1 million people vibrating at a lower frequency. That's powerful. That's really, really powerful. And it's very, very true. So raising your vibrations should begin to be your number one priority. Actually, I want you to think of it this way. Feeling good should begin to be your number one priority. Not looking good, feeling good. That is the number one priority you should start setting in your life. 2017 is coming up. Make one of your resolutions to be that feeling good is your number one priority. Feeling joy. And you do that by raising your vibrations. And so when you start looking at things, say like the foods that you eat, start looking at them not based on calories, not based on how good it tastes to your taste buds, but base it on what vibrational frequency does it hold. Is it a high vibrating frequency? Or is it a low vibrating frequency? So all of your foods that are the closest to source energy, so the closest to the source that they came from, for example, like an apple or anything that comes from the earth, okay? That anything that comes straight from the earth is going to have a very high vibrating frequency. Now, so your fruits, your vegetables, nuts, grains, all of those things, they come straight from the earth. And the closest that something is to its natural source of where it came from, the higher the content of vibration that it has. So that's also why it's so important to eat organic as much as possible, because once you an apple that is grown on an apple farm where there's no pesticides or anything used, where there's good soil and good environment, is going to have a much higher vibrating frequency than an apple that has been bombarded with pesticides and is growing on very, very bad soil and in the middle of a city that has nothing but pollution and everything going on. So that vibrational frequency of that apple is going to be very, very different. Okay, so you want to start really focusing on raising your vibrations by indulging in things that will help you raise your vibrations. So the closest that something is to its source, the better, higher the vibration, the better it is for you, and the more it's going to raise your vibration. The more it raises your vibration, the better you feel. So it's really, really actually very simple. I used to be so conflicted a lot of times between choices and trying to figure out, how to find the balance in what's good for me and what's not. Well, it tastes good and it's delicious. What is it really that bad to go and indulge in stuff like that? No, it's really not. Everything in moderation. But when you start thinking of it instead of like calories or fat content or anything like that, start thinking of it as vibrations, and then it makes your decision process so much clearer. You ask yourself before every single decision that you are faced with, every single moment of every single day presents you with a choice. And before every single choice, ask yourself, is this going to raise my vibrations? Or is it going to lower my vibration? And your ultimate goal should be, since your number one goal is feeling good, your ultimate goal is to raise your vibrations as high as possible. So depending where you're at on that vibrational scale, that will help you make your decision. I mean, if you are at the starting gates and you have just decided that you would like to just really raise your vibrations and better the quality of your life and start speaking this language fluently, okay, then I would recommend making majority of your decisions based on a yes to that question. Is this going to raise my vibrations? Now, once you've reached a very high vibration and you can maintain that vibration, even though you may indulge in something that isn't the highest vibrating frequency every so often and in moderation, because majority of everything that you are choosing is raising your vibrations. Okay, so you can just base things how you feel. It's a process. It's a learning process. It's an experience process. You are beginning to really understand yourself and learn. And that's all can be a very, very joyous discovering process that you really enjoy. and you get to learn yourself, and you really get back in touch with your feelings and connect instead of numbing and cutting those off all the time, which is what we've been taught very much over the years. You really connect with yourself again in a whole new way. Plus, speaking vibrations is a form of self-love, because when you speak vibrations and you consistently and knowingly and deliberately make decisions to indulge in things that will raise your vibrations, you are saying to the universe and yourself, I love you enough to make good decisions for you that benefit you. And that means you're important to me. So that's the vibration you automatically emanate to the universe when you start speaking vibrations deliberately. So it's a very, very beneficial thing. Vibration is in everything. So not just even with foods, it's also, when you turn on the radio and you've got all of these beautiful choices of different genres and music and all that great stuff, listen to the words in some of the songs and ask yourself, is this raising my vibration? When it's talking about nothing but killing each other over a pair of shoes, or just being hateful and mean or violent or derogatory towards or degrading towards women, when it's talking about all of that surface stuff that really holds a very, very low vibration on the vibrational frequency scale, it's exactly what it's doing. It's lowering your vibration just by listening to it. And, when you're watching something on TV, ask yourself, is this lowering my vibration right now just by watching this craziness of these serial killers that are going to do all of this stuff and cut everybody up into little tiny pieces? Like, that stuff is literally lowering your vibrational frequency. I am not saying do not indulge in, if you like scary movies or you like the, crime investigation shows and all that good stuff. I'm not saying don't indulge in that, because they can bring joy. What I am saying is don't tune yourself to or subject yourself to that frequency on a daily basis, minute after minute, hour after hour. Literally, you're not giving yourself any time to raise your vibrations. You will remain in a low vibrating frequency state. That is what is a lot of what is wrong today with society and just people, period, because 99.9% of the population is walking around and vibrating at a very, very low frequency. I don't know that number exact, but you get what I'm saying. It's a very large portion of people walking around vibrating at a very low frequency, and they don't feel good. They're not happy because they're vibrating at a very low frequency, and they're emanating that frequency out into the universe. The universe, through law of attraction, has no choice but to return that frequency and return situations. Then they attract situations that mimic that frequency. It's just a continuous vicious cycle. The best thing you could ever do for yourself and for the universe and all living beings as a whole is to raise your vibrational frequency to a place of joy. Unfortunately, everything nowadays that we basically subject ourselves to or promote as, the most awesome stuff to partake in is all low vibrating frequency stuff. The music nowadays, it doesn't have any more substance. That stuff is just, everything is just surface stuff that is superficial, that has nothing but low vibrational frequencies written all over it. And listening to that automatically dumbs everybody down to a low vibrating frequency. Stuff on TV, nothing, the movies. I mean, seriously, everything is just for, let's make it quick and fast and cheap, and it has no substance anymore. Nobody takes time to really do anything. So the things that we're subjected to are just really all lower vibrating. They lower our frequency. Partying, drinking, alcohol. I mean, every single other commercial is something about alcohol. And we learn as a society, we teach our children that is the only way that you can really have fun is by partying. Alcohol automatically lowers your vibration. It's poison to your body. I'm not saying don't indulge in some wine from time to time. And I'm not saying don't drink or don't do anything. I'm not telling you what to do whatsoever. But what I am telling you is that you need to start taking responsibility for your current state of being and your current vibrations by honestly looking at the choices that you're making and start making better choices. If you're not in a happy place, or if you don't feel good, start making better choices to raise those vibrational frequencies. If you're out partying every single night, you're not vibrating at a very high frequency. That's constantly subjecting yourself to poison. And that's giving your body and yourself a signal of, I don't really care much about you because I'm going to continue to poison you. If you have somebody that you love very, very much, you're not going to subject them to poison all the time. Your kids, you're not going to give your kids poison all the time. You shouldn't do that stuff with yourself. But the problem is we're just taught that, and it's the thing to do. And everything that that brings us joy in society most of the time nowadays, that we're taught brings us joy, is just superficial stuff that has no substance, and it automatically lowers your vibration. Now, I'm definitely not being a killjoy. I'm not saying don't ever go out and have fun, celebrate, or do any of these things. You are grown people, and you can make your own decisions. Everything in moderation is not a bad thing. If you operate from a high vibrating frequency majority of the time in your life, to go and partake in or ingest lower vibrating, or subject yourself to lower vibrating frequencies every so often, in moderation, is not going to harm you. Just if you do, then focus on raising that vibration again. It really just helps a lot. It helps a whole lot. Because, if you are vibrating, it's like magnetic waves, okay? So, like attracts like. If you are constantly negative, you are vibrating a negative energy. Well, the universe, through law of attraction, can only give you back what you are putting out. It's a magnet. So, if you're vibrating at a very low frequency right down here, okay, and you are going to then attract everything at a very low frequency that's operating on that same lower frequency right there. You're going to attract people into your life that are operating on that frequency. If you want to attract good, healthy relationships into your life, the best thing that you could ever do is to focus on your relationship with yourself, raise your vibrations, focus on raising those vibrations, because then you have no choice. And don't focus so much on the person that you want to come to you. Focus on you and who you are and what you're emanating to the universe, because when you're on this level, then you have no choice but to attract somebody on that level, on that same level that you're on. So the higher level that you're on, the better of a person you're going to attract into your life, and the better just circumstances, period. But the most important thing is the better you feel. We want to feel good, y'all. You can go into the gym 1,000,000 times and still feel like crap and be depressed and have no fulfillment whatsoever in your life. It's not just about physical. You have to really focus on spiritual. And by spiritual, I just mean focus on energy. Focus on the energetic connection that we have to the universe, that we all have to each other. We all have life force energy vibrating through us. And the more that we can take a step back also and let go of all of the resistance that we build up in our bodies, through the stresses that we endure and through the go, go, go mentality all the time, then the more that energy can just flow through us naturally, unimpededly. And that helps a lot, because that raises your vibrations big time when source energy, life energy can just flow through you. That's that magical energy. That's that energy that produces miracles and stuff and attracts miracles into your life. And, I'm not ever saying that just because you're vibrating at a very high frequency, nothing negative is ever going to happen. But because, listen, there's things that we're meant to learn, and it's through hard times that our soul grows. or that you grow as a person. Whatever you believe is fine. You don't have to be religious at all. I'm not religious at all. I'm very spiritual, but you don't have to be either. You don't have to be religious or spiritual to understand what I'm teaching. This is just basic science, actually. It's proven that everything is a vibrating frequency, and through the law of attraction is proven. Everything is just, it's proven. So learning to speak vibrations really helped me a lot, which is why I felt compelled to really share it with you. Ways to raise your vibrations. One of the best ways to raise your vibrations is through gratitude. Gratitude is one of the highest vibrating frequencies that you could ever call into your being. It really, really helps. So cultivating an attitude of gratitude is really important. I'm going to make another video on how to cultivate an attitude of gratitude. But basically, if you just, wake up in the morning and focus on all the things that you're grateful for, you automatically, every morning you wake up with a reset vibration. So it doesn't matter how bad the day was before or how low your vibrating frequency was the day before. When you wake up, when you're sleeping, it naturally resets. So when you wake up, you naturally reset your goodness gracious, your vibration, no frequency has reset itself, and it's like you have a clean slate every single day. So it's a very powerful thing. You're never stuck in one situation. You always have the choice to wake up the next day and start your day off right. Start it off through gratitude. Focus on all the things you're grateful for. And then throughout the day, just really, even the little things. Every single thing has an opportunity for gratitude. And when you cultivate that energy, you're raising your vibrations. And the universe has no choice but to give you more things to be grateful for. And it's really a habit also. So anybody can form or undo a habit. It takes 19 to 21 days to form a habit. I would give you, if I was you, I would give myself a month, and just every day make it a point to wake up and focus on everything that you're grateful for. And then throughout the day, continue to do that, and just pay attention to how things just start lining up for you and start going a whole lot easier. Everything is synchronized. Things will shift in your life, I promise you. And, if they don't, worst thing that can happen is you stay exactly where you are and nothing changes. But if you just try this, I promise you, without a shadow of a doubt, 100%, your life will improve drastically. Any of the good feel good stuff is high vibrating frequencies. All of the negative emotions, lower vibrating frequencies. So basically, I want you to think of life as a radio station, okay? And you've got the sender of the radio station. So think of one of those old-time radios where you're dialing, tuning into stations, okay? So at the very end of it, you've got the beginning of the radio stations, the very low numbers, low frequencies. And then at the very end, you've got the highest radio station. The highest radio station on the radio of life represents that frequency and that station where every single song that comes on is your favorite song in the whole entire world. It just lights up your whole being, and it just makes you so happy. It makes you feel alive and fulfilled. So that's the highest vibrating station, highest radio station of life that there is, okay? So then there's many different radio stations. You can go all the way down, down the scale of vibrating frequencies, from gratitude to joy to contentment. You go down all of the positive ones, and then you'll start going into the negative, lower number stations, lower vibrating frequency stations. And at the very bottom of it, you've got the lowest vibrating frequency station. And when you're tuned into that station, I call that station the station of dis-ease. So you're not at ease. It's dis-ease. And literally, if you stay tuned into that station long enough, you will experience disease on all levels. But you have the power every single morning to dial into whatever station of your choice. You can choose what station you want to tune into first thing in the morning. No matter how long the day before you were on the station of disease, you're automatically reset when you wake up in the morning, and you are tuned into the happy station, the best station, the highest vibrating frequency station. It is when we start thinking negative thoughts and subjecting ourselves to lower vibrating frequencies that you gradually start going down the radio station, down, all the way until you're back down to disease. But what you could do instead of going back down to that negative radio station, just all you have to do is keep yourself on this good station where every song is your favorite song by starting your day off with gratitude. Starting your day off with high vibrating frequencies. Indulge in a high vibrating frequency breakfast. Drink some high vibrating frequency, good quality water. Start becoming familiar with what substances lower your vibrations and what strengthen your vibrations. But really, your thoughts and your feelings are the number one thing that keep those vibrations high. So just by focusing in the morning on the things that you're grateful for, which you all have many, many, many things, then you will stay at that station for the rest of the day. And it will be much, much easier to stay on that station than to do the opposite, which is where you wake up in the morning and you start thinking, oh my gosh, I have to go to work. I hate my job. Oh, I feel so ugly, and I'm getting old, and all of these negative things that you think, like those thoughts start catching momentum. It takes 17 seconds for a thought to begin vibrating a frequency and attract another thought that matches that frequency. Okay, so if you think a thought for 17 seconds, it is going to then attract another thought that matches that frequency, and another thought after 17 seconds, and another thought, and the momentum starts growing. And it's kind of like if you picture a snowball at the top of a mountain. It's small at the very beginning, but if it starts rolling down that mountain and catching momentum, and catching more snow and getting bigger and bigger and bigger, by the time it gets to the bottom of that mountain, it's going to have so much momentum it could run over a whole entire house. Okay, so what happens if you get to a point where you're really have caught so much negative momentum that you're at the bottom of that hill? It's best to just get out of the freaking way. Don't try to stop it. Once you caught so much momentum, don't try to stop it. The best thing that you could do is just let that day go on about its business and wait to get a good night's sleep, and then your vibrational frequency will automatically reset. Much easier than trying to roll that sucker all the way back up the hill, push it back up the hill. It would take so much energy and be so much more draining. You could just let yourself go to sleep, wake up at the new vibration, and you've got a clean slate again, and then focus just that next day on keeping that vibrational frequency high. Like attracts like. It is the law of the universe. I promise you, if you start speaking vibrations, you are going to notice such a shift in your life, such a much more passionate place in life. It's going to reignite your passion for life, period. And things are just going to, people always tell me, Tierrah, I wish that I could see like you. I wish I could experience like you, because your life is just so magical. You see things and things happen for you. I wish I could tune into that. And I am here to tell you that you can. You just have to be open to it. And all it really is loving yourself enough to want to raise your vibrations, and caring about yourself enough to allow yourself to feel good, and not doing anything that's going to cause you to feel bad. It really is that simple. Now, it's also, it's a work in progress. You're a work in progress always. So just be patient with yourself, because if this has been going for years and years and years down and stuck on that dis-ease channel for years and years and years, it is not going to overnight be a habit that you can break. You have programmed yourself to be in a negative state of mind, to find the negative in everything, and to be a pessimist. Now it's like a muscle that you have to strengthen to find your way from there to back up to finding the good in things. Every single thing has an opportunity to find something good in it. Every single thing. You know, I mean, what's an example of something that the other day I really practiced this. I made it a point to really, in every single moment, get up, at every single moment, choose to find something that I'm grateful for about that situation. It was just my normal morning routine, but I would go to, so say I got up, what I do is I go and I feed the animals, and before I got out of bed, I was just thinking about how grateful I am that my bed is so soft that I have a bed, and that there's a roof over my head, and that it is warm. I'm nice and warm, and that everybody that I love is safe, and, you know, that there's a roof over my head, and that we have a beautiful home that we can call ours. So before even getting out of bed, that's what I said. And then after I got out of bed and went to go feed the animals, I would just said that I was grateful that I can afford to buy animal food, and that I can afford to take care of these animals, that I'm so grateful for the animals that bring me so much joy. And after that, I go and I'll clean the litter box. And even in that moment, you know, that's not a fun thing to do, but I was able to just say, you know, I'm so grateful that somebody came up with the pooper scooper, because I don't have to pick this stuff up with my hands. It really could be a whole lot worse. And I'm also very grateful that I have a nice system to where I can just get rid of it and my whole house doesn't have to smell like crap. So, I mean, literally, if you can find gratitude in scooping cat poop, like anything and everything can have in anything and everything, you can find something to be grateful for. Every situation. Okay? So just practicing that, though, is like strengthening a muscle. You're not going to go into the gym and squat 250 pounds off the bat if you've never squatted anything in your life and your legs are the size of this. That's just not going to happen. That's not realistic. You have to work your way up to that. So the same thing goes for the mind and anything to do with the mind and habits. You have to strengthen. They're all muscles. You have to strengthen them. So just by practicing it consciously every single day and devoting some energy to it, you will cultivate it. And then before you know it, doing it for a month, and all of a sudden it's second nature, and you're just all of a sudden a whole new being. You see life through different eyes, and it's just really, and here's the thing, y'all. It doesn't take any money to do this. It doesn't take anything external to do this. As long as all you need is you. You don't have to invest in anything at all outside of yourself to make this happen and to make this shift, which will be the most positive and powerful shift you will ever make in your life. All you need is you. And all you need to do is decide that you deserve it. Because you do. We all do. The best thing you can ever do for anybody that you love, or for the universe or the world, is to take care of yourself and to love yourself. Because you can't pour from an empty cup. That was a very hard lesson that I had to learn. You just can't pour from... I'm a very giving person, and I love to give and give and give because it really fulfills me, and I love to serve and help others. It brings me joy. But there's a fine line, and you have to understand that you can't always give, give, give. You need to have balance between giving and receiving. But that's a whole nother video that I'll be doing soon on giving and receiving. And, make sure that you subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss that video. I really am very excited with the new year coming up and everything. I'm really very excited to start making a whole bunch of videos for you guys. That's really all about improving the quality of life, improving your quality of being, getting your passion back for life, and just giving you the tools to make life the most beautiful experience that it can possibly be for you. 2017 is going to be your best year, so I really hope you subscribe so that you can receive all of this guidance, and I hope that it helps you. If you have found this video helpful, I ask that you please share it so that it can help someone else. learn to speak vibrations. Vibrations are very, very important, and it's the most important language you'll ever learn. And it's also the most beneficial language you'll ever learn, because I promise y'all, the universe loves you. The universe holds so much, so many miracles and magical things and joy and happiness. That's the only language that the universe knows how, wants to speak to you. But there's a law, the law of attraction. So you have to emanate what you would like to see. And just learning to speak vibrations is really going to help you better your quality of life and really bring some magic into your life. And I really hope all of you will just begin doing this. It's very simple. Just start by consciously, in every choice, ask yourself, is this going to raise my vibrations or is it going to lower my vibrations? And if it's going to lower, then decide if it's worth that for you, or if feeling good is more important to you. And if you start 2017 off and make that decision that feeling good is your number one priority, I promise you, looking good is going to come. It's going to be a side added benefit, because when you feel good, you're going to make more decisions. You're going to want to do more things that make you feel good. So feeling good should be your number one priority. Everything else falls into place after you do that. And I want you to feel good. You know, it makes me feel good to help people feel good, because ultimately that's what it's about. If you feel good, that means you're feeling joy, and that's a good place to be. The more of us that feel joy, the more of us that are vibrating that frequency out into the universe, and you know, the better the world feels as a whole. And the higher the vibration is of the world as a whole. So that makes me happy, and that's my goal, is to help everybody raise their vibrations and inspire and just lift up and help people have the best life that they can possibly have. So I hope you'll tune in to more videos. Like I said, if this helped you, share it. And if you have any questions, or if there's anything else that you would like for me to go into depth cover in depth, just let me know. Leave me a comment below, and I'll be happy to help if I can. Love you guys, and I'll talk to you real, real soon.